As I get closer to becoming an adult, I reminisce on the times when it was much easier as a kid, where the fear of not being able to pay your taxes or getting caught for tax evasion didn't loom over you like a black cloud. That doesn't mean when you were a kid that there weren't some terrifying things, alright? In fact, I don't even think taxes can compare to the absolute fear and dread the cheese touch brought to many young children. You were either scared of one of three things when you were a young boy: Herobrine, the cheese touch, or losing your mum and dad in Asda. Some tricky times, let me tell you. But today, we're going to be talking about the cheese touch and how absolutely fucking terrifying it was. 'Cause let me tell you, nothing compares in fear to the cheese touch, alright? If somebody mentions the cheese touch, I'm rolling around on the floor with fucking flashbacks to almost a war zone, alright? Because when the cheese touch pandemic hit my school, alright, it was like nothing you have ever seen before, alright? It was horrifying. So today, I guess we're going to be talking about the time the cheese touch swept my school. Obviously, we have to go back to Captain Underpants, of course, alright? This was the book everybody was reading it at school, alright? Every time the teacher would be like, alright, you little shits, fucking quiet reading time now. Everybody would whip out their Captain Underpants book and start laughing at the shitty poo jokes, alright? But there was one book where a bad guy kept giving Captain Underpants a wedgie, alright? And this led everybody in the class to give people wedgies, alright? It was fucking everywhere, alright? It was a fucking war zone. You'd be walking down the fucking corridor, fucking wedgie out of nowhere, mate. It was like a hit group coming around, just randomly choosing out victims to give wedgies, alright? All because of the Captain Underpants book, alright? So the school had no choice but to ban the book, ban all the sacred texts. Our great leader came into assembly and he said, that's it. No more Captain Underpants. And he banned all of the books. How are we gonna read our sacred texts now? Our dictatorship leader had named Captain Underpants contraband. If you were found with a Captain Underpants book, you would be taken to the back of the school. The firing squad would be waiting for you back there, alright? Scary times, alright? So, we didn't have any Captain Underpants to read. So when it came to quiet reading, everybody had to go to the fucking shelf. And if you don't know, at school, the shelf where all the books are holds the worst and most stinkiest of books, alright? Obviously, you'll have the odd one or two Minecraft Redstone handbooks, alright? But they would be taken by the fucking speedrunners, alright? You know the fast kid in every class? He'd be straight there to the fucking bookshelf, grab that Minecraft handbook, alright? And leave all the shitty books for everybody else, alright? So obviously, it was clear that we needed a new book for all of the class to read, okay? And one day, that sacred book came from the angels in the sky, alright? It landed on our doorsteps, and obviously you can probably guess that this book was Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And I don't fucking blame them. It's some pretty good fucking books, alright? I read with them even now. In fact, it's the only book series I've read all the way through, until my fucking mum said, yeah, you can't read these because they're too easy, alright? Now you wonder why I don't read anymore, alright? Yeah, thanks a lot, mother. It was great, alright? Everybody was in harmony, and even the teachers agreed that these books were good. They even played the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies at Christmas time, alright? It was great. But then one day, a madman came into school and he said, why don't we make the cheese touch a real game? And that was it. This was when it all started, alright? You know how the coronavirus started? There's probably someone who ate a bat, apparently. This was that. This was that man eating a bat, okay? It only started from that small friend group who had decided that they were going to play the cheese touch game, alright? But then it spread to everybody else. Not just in the year group, alright? No. In the entire fucking school. That's right, the entire fucking school was running around giving each other the cheese touch, right? Now, you're confused and you don't know what the cheese touch is right now. Let me just explain, alright? So in the book, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, there's a piece of cheese left on the school playground, alright? Or the school courts, alright? Cheese has never been touched or moved by any of the janitors, alright? It's been there for eternity. Legend has it, it's been there longer than Queen Elizabeth herself. And the thing about the cheese touch is it holds a great sickness, and I guess you could say a great power. It is the greatest weapon in the entire universe, alright? Because if you touch this piece of cheese, you get the cheese touch, alright? And now the only way you get rid of the cheese touch is if you give it to somebody else. And the only way they can get rid of the cheese touch is if they give it to somebody else by touching them. I know, pretty fucking big brain stuff right there. So yeah, when everybody started playing the cheese touch game, it was pretty terrifying, right? Nobody wanted to be the outcast who had the cheese touch, alright? So you'd go into school, it'd be like a fucking pandemic, alright? You'd have like 2 machetes, alright? You'd have like a fucking minigun on your back. You'd be checking around all the corners, seeing if the kid who has the cheese touch is round there, alright? You'd be rolling through with like SEAL Team 6. You'd be going into assembly like Bravo 6 going dark, alright? That was the true assassination point, alright? If you were just sitting in assembly, alright, you couldn't have moved, and the kid with the cheese touch sat behind you. Alright, they give you the fucking cheese touch, you're done for. Alright, there's no way you're getting rid of that cheese touch in assembly, alright? There's no way you can avoid it. So yeah, obviously the cheese touch, it was a pandemic. It was truly fucking terrifying for a kid. Alright, especially for me, alright? I didn't want the fucking cheese touch, alright? There was a day where I just stayed in the corner for the entire of lunchtime just because I thought somebody was going to come up to me and give me the fucking cheese touch, alright? That's the measures I took to not get the cheese touch. Obviously, it got to the point where, you know, some kids would get the cheese touch and they'd just start having a fucking meltdown, alright? They'd be fucking in tears, alright? It was like they were fucking distraught that they had the cheese touch, alright? And obviously this led to the teachers getting involved, alright? And, you know, so they called an emergency meeting, alright? All the teachers, they went into a room and they probably thought, how the fuck are we going to get rid of this cheese touch, alright? Now, probably the first thing they thought of was ban it. Because that's the first thing they came into assembly and said. They were like, oi, listen, you pricks, we're banning the cheese touch, just like we banned everything else you enjoy. Which I'm not gonna lie, schools, if you ban something, alright, it really does, it doesn't fucking do anything, alright, I'm not gonna lie. In fact, it probably makes it worse. Because after the cheese touch was banned, we had all the other fucking touches in the book, alright? To name a few, we had the noob touch, alright? Which, if you got touched by the noobiest kid on Minecraft in the school, alright, you would become the biggest noob in Minecraft in the school, alright? I'm not even fucking joking, that was a real thing they did. Had like the weird kid touch, where if you were touched by the weird kid, you would become the weird kid. You know, thinking about that now, that's actually pretty fucking cruel. So obviously, this wasn't good. There are about 1 billion touches in the school, alright? And nobody knew what the fuck to do, alright? Every single day, you'd come in, you'd get the grass touch, you'd get the poop touch, you'd get the noob touch, alright? You'd be like, what the fuck, how many touches do I even have anymore? The teachers couldn't stop it, the students couldn't stop it, there was only one who could stop it. And actually, it came as a surprise to everybody, alright? So, every single female in our school year decided, you know what? The cheese touch game, alright, that's immature, right? Because, you know, back then, every single girl was only concerned about being as mature as fuck, alright? They're like, I don't laugh at poo jokes anymore because I'm in year 5, you stupid son of a bitch, and if I laugh at a poo joke, that's fucking childish, alright? And so the cheese touch became essentially a poo joke. They were like, no, you're gonna give me the cheese touch? Well, I don't care, because I am mature, alright? And then it just sucked the fun out of everything, alright? And that was it. The cheese touch was just gone. Everybody just fucking forgot about it. And that was it. That was the cheese touch. Obviously, now and again, there'd be a few little skirmishes, alright? Obviously, the big stuff had gone. Okay, but obviously, while everybody was a little bit upset that the cheese touch was now gone, they were a little bit thankful that they didn't have to watch over their back, alright? That they didn't have to, you know, prepare for anything at any time, alright? But yeah, anyway, I guess that's the story of the cheese touch for me. I'm sure many other schools had the cheese touch, you know, turn up at some point, but, you know, that's my personal story. Alright, if you want to talk about your cheese touch story, you know, go in the comments, alright? Tell me about your cheese touch story. I'd love to hear it, alright? But yeah, thank you for coming along today, gamers. I salute you, and yeah, farewell.